Hello folks, on the scene of Kyle Rittenhouse's trial. Channel 7 News.
That's helpful because truly they are heroes. What did they see here in Kenosha? They saw something unjust. And so they went out, they gathered, they exercised their right to protest. Something this is American as the founding of our country. Standing up and speaking when we see something wrong. And JoJo and Anthony, they saw something very wrong here in Kenosha. They saw Jacob get shot 7 times in the back by officers in the city. They never came home. They were murdered for exercising their right to gather and to protest and to speak up. They stand in a long line of the history of people who stood up, of white allies who stood up in this movement for black life. They stand with people like Reverend Jim Reeves, who stood up in Selma. With people like Heather Hoyer, who stood up in Charlottesville. And so let's just remember that Anthony and JoJo are heroes. Let's just remember that they were exercising their right to stand up, their right to seek justice. And let's never forget what they did. And let's make sure that Anthony, JoJo, and their families get justice over the next couple weeks. No justice, no peace.
You would think that at this time we would be running or hiding or somewhere wiping our tears because we didn't get justice for our nephew. This is much greater than just a blink. This has to do with our country and where it's going the next 50 to 100 years by the laws that we sat down today.
Is this for Kyle?
We feel betrayed by our president and the vice president for not addressing the Floyd family, not addressing the Taylor family, and not addressing the Blake family and the issues that matter so much to African Americans. If we can't walk around freely,
you want to be in the video?
Then what do we really have?
You want to be in the video?
If you, the DOJ,
I'm just
said,
posting up on
okay,
Kenosha.
you shoot an African American young man 7 times in the back in front of 3 children, then what freedom, what liberties, and what civil rights remains for African descendants in this city or any other state now, because it can happen in Missouri, just like they yanked that young man who was paraplegic out of his car.
The trial starts today.
Demoralized him, beat on him. It looked terrible, but you know what? Since little Jake was shot and they said it was okay, the paraplegic man doesn't stand a chance. Are you starting to understand what I'm talking about? 7 times in the back. Not being aggressive, not being violent, and charged with no crime. So we're going to stand here, regardless of the DOJ, regardless of President Biden that came down there and said he was going to do things and didn't do it. For our families and other families, we still have enough strength to stand with this family to make sure they get justice. And that counts for something, because something we have amongst us you can't buy, and that's people power. All power to the people.
I know it'll make you mad, but I feel like you were...
I'm Bishop Tavis Reddick, National Field Director.
Okay. Watch it another day.
Want you to post your sign?
I think that's fine. A lot of them. A lot of them be good crack. Early this morning. Like coffee.
Yes, every manager.
She had to put her live in the front so they could see us. Hey, live.
No, actually, I don't care.
About her live. Like I told y'all, I've been on them already. I don't care about none of that. I think that's okay. They lost their lives. And y'all think that's fine? That makes you really weird. Just like that damn judge. Look, check them out.
What justice is all about. We're
standing here on behalf of the victims. Yes, it's running right now in Charlottesville, Brunswick, Georgia, and now in Kenosha. At the same time, our trials and proceedings going on, where we are trying
Mighty Mike
this
at the courthouse.
by using the criminal justice system for what it's worth. We still don't have a George Floyd Justice Act that's sitting on the floor of the Congress, but there's not the will and the consciousness to raise the value of black and brown lives. For a judge to say on one hand, you can call them rioters and looters, but you cannot call two people who were murdered unarmed. This young man was underage, had no reason, no right to be self-appointed. To take the lives of two innocent individuals and leave another one maimed for life. Jacob Blake Jr. will never get back a part of his life that's so vital to all of us. It's a paraplegic today. But these proceedings today and this week and across this country from Charlottesville, Brunswick, Georgia, give us an opportunity to raise the value of black and brown lives, to make sure that this does not happen again. And those who are secessionists, those who are separatists, those who are seditionists must be put on point, must be put on call, must be put on notice that America is waking up and we're not going away. We're coming to the steps of this courthouse every day until we get justice. You know, Emmett Till may have not been able to be called a victim by this judge. Trayvon Martin may not have been able to be called a victim by this judge. Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, Rakia Boyd, Devon Gregory, the names go on and on, that this judge would not allow them to be called victims. The fact of the matter is, a murder took place that night. And a murderer is in this courtroom. And he should be treated as such. And we don't want any corners, we don't want any breaks, we don't want any technicalities to be violated. We want him to be tried to the fullest extent, but we saw for ourselves how police officers coddle and comfort him. We know, as a matter of fact, he was transported across state lines. There is not a black defendant that has ever been in this courthouse that's been given an opportunity and advantage like Kyle Rittenhouse. And so we come for correction. We come for the principle and the power of social justice. This is not about black and white, it's about wrong and right. And all of us bear responsibility.